it's really hard to watch the animal. Ah! Ah! No! How about some boas? These are fast becoming one of my favorite locality salvatores, and they're notorious to be kind of crazy. That's a little girl. That's a little girl. And these are going to go through a drastic color change. Hi, buddy. It's just kind of like a coming eye. They go through a huge change, but these are a lot rarer than a coming eye. This is a male. Hi, buddy. But I've been working with them, getting them social. God, that... I just gotta look at some of my other videos on YouTube for Sumbawa and take a look at what some of these animals turn into. Absolutely dying. I love to eat the end of a rake. Won't you die? I'm never gonna let it go because I think I got somebody's hand. This is a female Sumbawa. This is wild caught. It only took like 8 of us to capture this loose monitor. No, I'm lying. I just trimmed her claws. Just wait a little bit. But she is no joke. She is one of the most miserable animals. But look at how friggin' pretty. Move that towel away, Tristan. That thing. It's smoking. Just bred this. What's it coming on? All right, we want to ultrasound you or something, see what's going on, but nothing. She won't let anything go. Say goodbye, you evil little monster. This is the devil. That coloration, this is going to get so coppery, and this shoulder banding. These are generally more like the Vivittatus as opposed to Macromaculatus. See right there? This banding, just awesome. This is a girl right here. This thing is just going to be unbelievable looking. Hi. And what's really interesting is if you ever get to deal with Sumbawas, a real pure Sumbawa, they're very hard to get healthy. And then to get them to acclimate and to actually tolerate being handled. So I've been working on these. And kind of winning the war. The fact that I can do this, no more biting, no more craziness. Hi, look at you. Even tolerating the phone. But one of our objectives is to make some beautiful F1 Sumbawas. Scared. Oh my goodness. This is very typical what you're going to see with baby water monitors that do not trust you, that are not socialized. So they come out of the egg all fired up, puffing out his little throat. Look at that. So this is Sumbawa times my Gubu. That is going to be you're going to be a smoker. So I can actually hold this one now without really getting bit. Oops, trying to bite me. Oh, look at that. Oh, goodness gracious. Really? Playing with your bum. Bring it in. it's really hard to watch the animal. Ah! Ah! No! Just gonna do a quick video. I'm trying to get in the habit of doing things like this. And see my little buddy right here. I'm just doing some monitor socialization. But I figured I would talk after going to the HB688 and SB161 here in New Hampshire. Basically, the SB161 was the Senate House hearing, and then the HB688 was the hold on, get distracted. The testimony in front of the House committee. So basically, these are proposals of changing the existing laws, basically underneath the guise of strengthen the laws that would then yield less animal abuse, animal hoarding, and stuff like that. And that, you know, it's basically, so we all want, at least I would think we'd all want, less animal abuse and all that. So basically, if you slip it through saying it's going to basically be anti-animal abuse and anti-cruelty and animal endangerment legislation, so naturally we just add more laws and things would get better. Well, the reality is it's nothing like that. It is basically could create some of the most restrictive laws in the entire country for keeping pets. And it was literally so anti-pet. One thing that's really interesting, HB688 had in numerous changes and additions, one thing that said that any hobbyist breeder would not be able to sell their product, their wares, their offspring to commercial entities. So that means little Joey down the streets breeding bearded dragons or leopard geckos. And he would then not be able to, underneath the new license, would be able to sell those offspring to a pet store. That's crazy. So the hearings went really well. Basically, I'm winging this, so I'm just kind of like just thinking, so just bear with me. So we went to the hearings, and you know, you go into these rooms, and you know, you're basically dealing with politicians and people that live in a very, very different world than any of us animal keepers and animal lovers. So you go in there, and you're easily out of your comfort zone. So you're going to the state legislative house, or you're going to the state capitol, and where they have these meetings. And so you pile on into one of these rooms where everybody is generally pretty well dressed. There's basically a bunch of people sitting in their chairs and their tables and stuff like that, viewing testimonials of office members, of people that are basically there to talk and do testimonies for just so many different reasons. But for what we had to deal with, we go in there, and we're animal people, so we're a little worried, because this could really radically change what we do. And so we get in front of these people, and we listened. There was animal rights there, so we had the National Humane Society was there, and there generally a lot of the stuff we keep hearing about dogs and cats. So dogs and cats are generally where we started having hoarding situations, certainly on dogs. Animal abuse, where the animals are being kept in squalor, feces everywhere, lots of ammonia, lots of pee, lots of urine, lots of of waste product in people's houses, and sometimes becoming very much a hoarding situation. And obviously, hoarding situations are mental issues for people. It's obviously we have mental conditions that these people that feel like they need to take in all these animals, keep all those animals. They want to keep those animals in such a poor situation, then allow those animals to be anyplace else. And I'm certainly not a psychologist, but that clearly is not built on sensible or rational thought. So the Senate hearings, there were animal rights, and we basically dealt with that. They had their testimony, we had our testimony, and I think we did really well. And don't mind me, there's people talking in the background. But I got a chance to speak, and I really don't have things written down I have like ideas. I try to think of like talking points, like what will I talk about? What sounds good and all that. And just basically try to adjust whatever my argument is to what has not already been said or what is relevant. Certainly what is being spoken about by animal rights or anybody that's in favor of one of these bills, and I need to be able to adjust it and be able to make an argument. Because these people that are listening and hearing all these testimonies essentially are supposed to be open-minded. We have a proposed law, and they need to see if the law makes sense, and you need to see, are there people that are for this or against this, and if they are for it or against it, what are their points? What are the reasons that we would adjust our existing laws? So basically, this is a critical time, because we need to get a very strong set of facts out there that can be digested by these hopefully open-minded people that are just basically there just to become further educated. And it's our job being there to educate them. And so my testimony I felt was really strong. We didn't record the first one at the Senate, but I came out really strong and direct. I just want to make sure I got this one chance. I want to be very, very clear in what I have to say and what I'm thinking. And I don't want to leave it, wishy-washy. I don't want to sit there and read off a script. I don't want to sit here and say, I represent the England Reptile, I represent zoo creatures, and if you did these laws would be job-crushing, business-crushing. We can do all that stuff, and I think this is what they're used to hearing. So I think what you need to do is you need to be very candid, and you need to be certainly passionate, and you basically need to sound like you know what you're talking about, and you need to be incredibly confident. So you need to be very clear in what you say and how you're projecting it to them, and it also needs to be digestible, and it also needs to appear as if we can also take some measure of what they're saying, and we can see if we actually have things that could be improved. Clearly, the laws as they exist always have room for improvement. Does that mean policing with more investigators and all this stuff? No, nothing like that at all. But we kept on hearing about dogs and cats and hoarding and all these problematic situations. What we weren't hearing about was reptiles, amphibians, fish, small animals, bunny rabbits, and birds. So I basically was there to argue for the hobby and the hobbyists. A person in their home who is keeping these animals and doing a wonderful job, and there's no reason to go inside their house. There's no reason to even look at their animals and even consider a situation. And that's really what we're there for, because these laws would allow state officials, inspectors, to come inside your house, and it would cost, I think by 2022, looking at all the associated costs, it would potentially cost $3.7 million to the state of New Hampshire just to even get this program kind of up and running. 13 new employees. They haven't even figured out where they'd even store all these employees. So that's kind of something to consider too. It's just massive resources on the state. And there'd be really very little revenue for this. So that means this is going to fall on the burden of the taxpayer. And that's just ridiculous. And what's really sad, so we didn't get this on video, and then we went and did the House hearing committee, and I once again got a chance to go up there and do my testimony, and I waited and waited. I was just like getting worried, like, God, I'm going to burn out and not going to be able to say what I want to say, and I really don't even know what I'm going to say when I go up there. When I did go up there, I had my hat on. My plan was go up there, and like if you go to court or whatever, I go to court all the time, but you take your hat off. So my plan was like that, and I was dressed reasonably well for me, and but I did have my hat on backwards, and when I sat down there, it was just so sudden, and I just immediately right to it. I actually forgot about my hat, so I don't want people just to think that I was just like, oh, that's really bold of Kevin. That really was not my intent. But what I do think was it didn't matter, because I went and I sat down and I went right to it, and I just basically was able to come up with a whole bunch of different talking points that really weren't discussed, that I felt was very important. And you could watch the House committee respond. They sat up. They were. I felt like I engaged them well, and their attitude was excellent. And that was encouraging. So as I started talking about stuff like that, I just went just through one point after another. But I would strongly suggest you get to see part of my testimony. That was only about 2/3 of my testimony. We ended at, I'm done, do you have any questions? And sure enough, I continued from there. But we didn't get to videotape it. We ran out of memory on Rob's phone. And I got to say some things, even talking about, you know, the live free or die state, and how it would be a mockery if we would have some of the most restrictive pet keeping laws in the country. But clearly all these laws are anti-pet. They're just really, they're not good at all. And they're basically conceived under like an elitist idea, and also it's just basically based on nonsense. So I would strongly recommend checking out the testimony. You can kind of get an idea of the feel. And what was really good, encouraging, after I finished speaking and things had quieted down a little bit, I ended up leaving the room. I wanted to go to the bathroom, and as I was out there, a woman from the house committee came after me, and she says, I need to talk to you before you leave. And I was like, well, I'm not leaving. And she says, she came up to me, really nice woman, I think it was Representative Abel, and she grabbed my left hand with both her hands, my arm, and shook my arm and was like, your testimony was amazing. What you said was so informative, it was so interesting, and you did such a great job arguing your point, and I really I want you to know what a great job you did. And that was really wonderful. That was like a real positive, because I got, you know, it's up there if you're just yammering away, but then to see how somebody from the other side who isn't an animal person is still perceiving you, and can you get your point across? Can you get it to be intellectually stable, and you know, you don't want to speak poorly and represent, you know, our industry poorly. I might be speaking kind of poorly right now because I literally just want to make some video and do some of the stuff, just get some of these talking points out here. I'm distracted with this lizard. I had really no exact idea what I was even going to talk about, but I was going to basically socialize this little guy and clean off some of his shed, and he's just moving around. But then we were inside there, and I felt, since this house committee was so responsive, I felt at the end, and they seemed quite friendly, that I thought we should thank them. So I thanked them for being so open-minded and being so responsive, and how so important this is to us, that I felt like they were engaging us. I actually felt like they actually cared about what we were thinking. And that is just wonderful, because if you get somebody who's responsive to you and can listen to what you're saying, you're in the argument. You're in there, and you have a chance to change things or prevent things from happening. When I went into the Senate testimony, I felt more like I was talking at them, because they were kind of like just not as engaged or whatever. And the House committee was a lot, you know, it was a bigger area. There's quite a few members of the House committee. You can't even see it in the video, but there's a whole bunch of them, and they were responsive. And so I thanked them at the end, and that really, I think, went a long way too, because they were talking back and agreeable. And then two of the reps came over and further talked to us, and it's really cool. So I think we represented the hobby well. There was a lot of hobbyists there, you know, my people and a bunch of other people we all know, and they were there, and they did testimonials. They were on point. So we ended up having 2 in favor and 54 against 688, which is actually really good. I don't know what happened to animal rights. They might have been there and then just left, because you could see that they were definitely being outnumbered. And we had a really strong standing there. And one thing I can say preliminary is they were supposed to meet, the House is supposed to have another meeting on 688 on Tuesday, maybe more like an informal thing, and they maybe will discuss it, or the state of 688 as it exists now. So basically 688 would take the existing laws, which is about 3,000 words, and change it to about 6,000 plus words. So it would have all sorts of new regulations and everything like that. And these regulations are just awe-inspiring how crazy they are. But they have now, that meeting is supposed to happen on Tuesday, and that meeting isn't going to happen. So that could be a really good sign, because this bill pretty much was falling apart in front of our very eyes. Representative Bixby had already started amending aspects, and I think what would be really great when they're doing this kind of stuff, if I could ever engage these people and actually talk to them instead of them wasting all the time and all the state taxpayer time and all their resources, if they get to talk to somebody like me, we could really let's get down to brass tacks. Let's talk about our industry. Let's let them become educated, because if they really were educated about what we are and what we do, they would realize a lot of this stuff isn't even founded. It's so unfounded. All right, well, I figured I'd just do a follow-up video, and it's a very foreign world, the world of politics and how these people can make these laws. Isn't this a cutie? So cute. All right, well, hopefully you guys found some kind of information in this. And please, as always, like, hit, subscribe, start talking. We love to hear what you have to say. I love it when we're talking back and forth. All the wonderful compliments to me about the hearings, and I really appreciate it. It's wonderful. It really, it takes a lot of energy to do all this stuff, and I'm here literally fighting for all of us. And I guess the reward is I get to hear what you guys are thinking, if you feel like I'm doing a good job, and that's great, because that's the most important thing. But I am a hobbyist just like you, and that is the most important thing. All right. Hopefully you're also liking our new video style. We have Donny, and Donny is he's been here working. He does the monitors. He takes care of the monitors, and he's always like, "Oh, I can do your videos," and I never even did anything with that, but I didn't quite understand how skilled he was. And then we started doing a couple of videos, and I was just like, wow, look at you, wow. Isn't that cute? All right, guys, say goodbye. I can't stop. He's too cute. You're so cute.
It was me yesterday. I was like, hi, Donny.
Hi, Donny.
Hi, Kevin. Hello, losers.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, Daddy.
What are you guys doing?
Plenty of retake.
I think you're barking through the floor.
Dude! Oh, Connor, you're it! Oh, you're it! No! Yet, he took his shirt off. You just want an excuse